Hello, this is a 2015 Infiniti QX70. I've bought a lot of cars over the years, but unlike before, I've been sharing more about the buying process and the decision process. So in this video, I'd like to explain how I landed on a 2015 QX70 specifically as the vehicle that I wanted to buy. Some of it is very justified, some of it is just by chance. I tell you, one of the biggest decisions is that I own a 2009 Infiniti FX50, this vehicle right here, sport model. Back in the day, the way they named it, the FX, we knew it was this kind of SUV or crossover, and the 50 was a 5.0 liter V8. This one right here, when they came to this naming, it's a little confusing, but 70 just kind of referred to where it sits with regards to their series. Think about BMWs, for example, right? Audis, things like that. So this is where the 70 comes from. The QX means it's an SUV because this one right there, M56, ended up being named the Q70, as an example. And then on the side, the 3.7 was the way to tell what kind of engine you had. 3.7 liter V6. So I owned that vehicle for about a year, a little more than a year from as of now, and I can't say I was 100% in love with it. I didn't mind it. I liked the way it drove. Power was nice. I had a few material concerns about it, but it was generally a very good vehicle for what it is. So I knew that I would like to get another vehicle from that platform, the S51 platform. That's what they call the 2009 and up Infiniti FXs. And back on that naming thing, the naming went, in 2009 they had an FX50 and an FX35. And that went up until 2013 when the V6 became an FX37. In 2014, the naming changed and all of them became QX70s. Then they had the 5.0 on the badge and the 3.7, 3.7 badge on the side. In 2015, the V8s were dropped from North America. Yes, I believe North America in general. So all you had was QX70s that were V6s. And that kept going on from 2015, 16, 17 was the last QX70 that they sold. So that's it with regards to choices. Honestly, I would not have minded getting another V8, but it's so rare to get them. And when you do get them, you pay a pretty high tax. Now listen, there's FX50s from 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, and in 2014 the QX70s. And as soon as those show up in the market, people buy them. No matter what people ask, they always sell because it's that last year rare and things like that. So my real pull for the V8 in this model was going to be 2009 through 2013. I did not want to buy another 2009, which I believe is when they sold most of them. So that, or at least it seems like in the market there's more 2009s. So my pool has just shrunk again. 10, 11, 12, 13, 4 years. And so it was a little tough to get the ideal vehicle that I wanted, So that's why the V8 was a little out of the pool. Now come here. In 2000 and I believe in 2013, no, 2012, I believe, is when that platform changed to this grille right here. I'm not too particular on it. I don't really care, really, whichever grille comes, because most of the body looks pretty much the same. There are a few subtle differences, but pretty much the same vehicle, right? I do like the chrome rings around the fog lights, though. But it wouldn't be a deal breaker. So at that point, I don't mind the fuel economy. I don't mind the performance. And this vehicle actually gets better fuel economy than that Nissan Murano over there. So I said, well, let's do this again. As much as it consumes premium fuel, I think all in all, it's costing me less on gas. Well, on a per mile basis, it's costing me less on gas to get the FX50 than driving the Murano. Okay, so I said, let's go ahead and see if we can get another one of these. The V8s were tough to get. And then I told myself, why not get a V6? You know, it's purportedly better in gas, at least 2 miles per gallon better. And I said, okay, well, that is something I could consider. So I started looking at the V6s. Now, with the V6s, my pool is way larger because it starts from 2009, which was a year I did not want to buy anything. So 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The last years of the QX70 are pretty expensive still. Rightfully so. They're nice vehicles. I just did not want to pay that much for a vehicle that was a maybe for me. You know, I didn't really know how long I was going to keep it. The challenge with buying a QX70 V6 or any V6 really in the platform is that every V8 came with more packages, and Nissan's been doing that for a while, at least with the Infinitis. When you get a V8, it's almost guaranteed you have certain packages with you. So, for example, that was I think every V8 got the premium package, and I think every V8 probably got the deluxe touring package. Now, the deluxe touring might not make sense when you look at this because both of these are pretty well packaged. But see that stitching on the seats? Yeah. That was something that was for the deluxe touring, if I remember correctly. And then the other thing is that, yes, technology package was not a standard, but almost, I think, no, the V8s, if it was a crapshoot, maybe half and half, you'd get the technology package, but sport, it was easier to get a sport package with the V8 as well. So, and sport package is not something I was really hell-bent on getting with this one either. In fact, I kind of avoided them a little bit. These 21-inch wheels look good, look great, but tires are not very easy to come by. The proper tires are not easy to come by, and I felt like I could use a little bit of more suspension cushioning, you know. So the technology package is the package that comes with the intelligent cruise control. I was looking for the sensor in the front here. Here it is. Intelligent cruise control, and let's just show you what the steering wheel looks like here. So this is what technology package came with. Whenever you saw this package right here, this is lane departure warning and lane departure prevention as well. You had forward collision warning, lane departure warning, distance control assist. This is part of the intelligent cruise control. Well, it works kind of like intelligent cruise control. You just can't hit people unless you try so hard. Automatic AFS. Automatic front lighting system, I believe is what it is. So your headlights adjust themselves automatically up and down. And also when you turn around corners, they swivel left and right. And then intelligent brake assist. So a lot of different features. And that's what the technology package was about. I really like those features. I wanted to get another one with features like that. And how do I usually know? Whenever I was shopping, a lot of the V6s did not come with those options. Most of them did not. So it was a little bit of a struggle trying to find the appropriate one, trying to filter them out. So as you can tell right now, when you look at the front, you can barely tell. However, one of the things that was helping me sifting through all those hundreds of pictures is that I just look at this windshield over here. And because not too many of them take pictures of the interior and show you the steering wheel in full, this part right here, do you see that thing? Yeah, that is a camera for lane departure warning. And usually I'd know that if it's got that, then it's got everything else I needed. So that's kind of how I landed on this one here. You know, this conversation is kind of, it covers both why I chose a V6 QX70 and also why I chose this one here. Okay, so that's how I landed on this one here. It was pretty clear to see the cutout. The pictures were nicely done. Although I could not see the bottom, I could see it immediately. And then when I started looking at pictures inside, these guys were nice enough to show a lot of pictures. And as you can see here, I've got, this part is not blank. I've got something here. This is just part of the driver assist system. Yeah, that's what they call it. And one thing I did not mention in the other one, this one right here, is, you know, part of your intelligent cruise control. This is a distance setting. And then you got all the other things, intelligent brake assist. This one here is for the warnings whenever you're, you know, backing up. Yeah, part of the shield or the driver assistance package. Here, I guess you can't control any of the other stuff. forward collision warning and things like that. Those are all in there. Okay, so this is usually just the sound. This is the things do you want them to act. Lane departure, forward collision warning, and isn't there a third one? Can't remember. So something else I haven't mentioned is that in late 2012, and for sure all 2013s, I believe, the Infiniti FX line started getting a powered trunk that was not earlier. So now if you're following me, it's not like it's a deal breaker, not really, but powered trunk is pretty nice. So my pool has just shrunk in general from 2010 through 2017, or for the V8s it was such even narrower. I'm now looking at a 2013 if I was trying to get a V8, or very lucky get a 2012 that has a powered trunk. So the pool on the V8 was getting very, very narrow. However, this one here on the V6s, I still had a little bit of a choice. So I wanted a 2012, late 2012 and up, because that's when you would get the, the powered trunk. But I very strongly preferred, to only get the 3.7 engine. The 3.7 engine was introduced to the V6s in 2013. That's when the Infiniti FX37 came up. It replaced the FX35. The FX35 was not bad, but I've driven one of those, and let's just say I preferred to drive this one here. On drivability, if engine were not an issue, or if, availability were not an issue, I think the V8 is the smoothest, just drives nicely, but I settled for the V6, the 3.7. And I felt like, it's not such a bad trade-off, because there's so much support out there, aftermarket support. If something happened to the engine, I can buy one fairly cheaply, maybe $1,000, and keep moving. So that was the other thing, one of the other things that I wanted. So I wanted a 3.7, and that means I was looking at the FX37 from 2003. Okay, now having left the V8 dream alone, I was looking at 2013, sorry. I was looking at 2013 and up. Okay, cool. But then, when it comes to that, the V6s usually have an issue called the oil gallery gasket problem. And for vehicles that have been using the 3.7 for a while, for example, G37s, 370Zs, I think they said that problem was solved by Nissan in about 2012, but some people with 2012s were still having problems with them. So they said 2013 was the safest way to go about it. So I said, 2013 might be the way to go. So in my mind, I really did not care too much whether it was an FX37 or a QX70, as long as it had the 3.7 liter V8. But 2013, I knew it wasn't possible to get a 2012 with a 3.7, but I was looking at it as maybe they were built in 2012 still and sold as 2013s. So now that brings me up again to, you only want a 2014 model year, right? So that's kind of where this was going. 2014 QX70 and up. And again, I've forgotten about the V8 at this point, really. I'm looking at them and I'm talking to some people, but the prices are not exactly where I want to be. So I said I'm going to look for a QX70 from 2014, regardless of whether it's a V8 or not. I'm just looking at 2014 and up. And I'm looking for a technology package. I'm looking for all those other trimmings. So this one's got premium, deluxe touring, and technology package. The only thing it does not have is sport, and the other option was getting headrest monitors, which was an option that seems like a lot of people took back in 2009 and 10. Over the years, it seems like it slowed down. They used to offer a roof-mounted one, but that also kind of stopped over time. So this is what we have going on, and I'd have to start the car for you to see all the different features. We've got things like advanced climate control. That is a rudimentary form of the forest air system that I talked about with regards to the M56 and M37 over there. So that's what we've got going on. It checked a whole lot of boxes for me. Now, When for a lot of Nissan's vehicles or Infinitis, somewhere they tell you if it's an all-wheel drive. You know, they would give you an X or they would put an all-wheel drive sticker. With these, they never did, but it is an all-wheel drive. And I live in Indiana. It's not like I absolutely need to have all-wheel drive, but it's a nice feature to have. And I think when I looked at the fuel economy between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, it was the difference was negligible. So, but again, really nice to have. For one, this is a rear-wheel drive based all-wheel drive model, so most times it is rear-wheel drive, and it drives like a sporty vehicle that it is. If you've driven a G37, it feels a lot like it, but it's bigger, obviously, but still nice and tight, handles pretty nicely. Whatever it does not have in power compared to the FX50, it makes up for in nimbleness. It's a lighter engine up front, and the best, if you wanted driving, if you needed a little bit of utility and you needed something that drove and handled really nicely, then get an FX37 rear wheel drive, because the weight distribution is almost perfect at, I think it's 49-51. It's really, really close to being balanced. But this one here, good enough. And plus, if you think about it, this vehicle is being used as a replacement for a 2018 Nissan Murano. Trust me, the person who's going to be driving this car is not discerning about handling and things like that. The only difference we note is that compared to the 3.5 engine in here, this one feels a little more rumbly, you know, it's a little rougher. The 3.7 is a little rougher compared to the 3.5, but I think it's still something manageable. So yeah, long story, but I hope that explains exactly, or in a way, how I, Mr. V8, ended up with this car right here. And you know, I hope it makes sense, because I think that's an M45X, M56 Sport, Q45, M45 Sport, FX50, M56 Sport, and this is a Sport as well. So yeah, I usually go for Sport models and things like that, but here I wanted the drivetrain, I wanted the vehicle. I think it's a decent platform. I wanted the 3.7 drivetrain, and I just did not. You know, I feel like it's easily customizable. I can do a lot of things with this, you know, and I'm a wheel person, so I could go down as low as 18-inch wheels. I could go up as high as 22 is kind of all I'd like to do. I know you can go even higher, but I don't want to go that high. So it's easily customizable on the body, and you could do more, I guess, under the hood as well. And something else I should mention about this one here that I really like is that pretty well maintained. The dealer records were very scant. I didn't really see too many, but you could just look at it and tell it's a decently maintained vehicle. And then, no dash cracks. That is something that FXs have always had, dash cracks. So when I saw this one right here, I said I gotta get it. And as much as I love to haggle and things like that, sometimes you gotta know when you've got a good deal. 2022 is a bad time to try to haggle anything. So when I saw this, not only was it nice, in good condition, but the price was also right. So the price they were asking for was lower than Blue Book value, like by, I think they had just lowered it. So by like $2,500. As soon as I saw it, I said, you know what, we're gonna get this. You gotta know when you got a good thing. I say that because I lost a car. I was going to buy an M37, which is a different story. M37, I was willing to buy an M37 that I lost on a difference of like $800. So there's no loyalty. No one's holding cars for you anymore. Just gotta do what you gotta do. The other biggest thing, which is really crazy, about every single car I own here I've either flown to get it or it's been shipped to me. This one here was only 2 hours away. I drove there, looked at it, drove back home, and then 2 days later, when the numbers, you know, when I was ready to get the check and all that, I got an Uber, paid $150 with the Uber to go there, and then I drove it home. And here we are. So I've been doing my best to share a lot more about this, about my purchase process with this vehicle, and I hope to share even more. I do plan to do a little bit of customization with it. It doesn't hurt that there's so much aftermarket support for the 3.7 engine, but you know, all in all, we're ready. We've been waiting for this moment. And it's got pretty decent power. Obviously, you can't really hear power through the TV or phone. If anything, that sounds kind of weak. But watch this. Oh, listen to this. Not bad, right? Just need to get some decent exhaust and we'll be on the move. Let's see if we can get some acceleration. So our road is kind of rough, this private road thing, but it's decent. Yes, you can feel the dips, but it's not jarring. It's, just takes a thump and it's nice and pliable. And that's at 110,000 miles. Yeah, I know it's not that old, but some vehicles at 110,000 usually tell you, and you can really feel when they're complaining. So we got a chance to get on the road here. Let's see what this little V6 does. Oh, it revs and revs. Oh my. So, not too bad, not too bad. Oh, this is usually like my favorite moments when you're driving, when it turns red on you. Because now I can put it into sport mode. Like this, that's what happens, DS. And for this, I'm going to have to turn off the evidence.